Hi everybody, so here we are with the output devices 1.34 topic. So again, let's try and work on our exam technique first point, check how many marks we're dealing with, and then we're looking at give two advantages of the new technology, which is LCD and LED versus cathode ray lamps or tubes, which are very old heavy monitors that we used to have. So these colder ones, they need to warm up. My pen's not charged, which is why my writing's even worse this time. So they also have the newer ones have a higher resolution. They were getting like 8K monitors and things now, which is just incredible. They are thinner and lighter. The old ones are absolutely huge and they use less power. What else? They get better colours, more vivid colours, and it's longer lasting too. The old ones used to burn out. Not that I don't think I ever had one that did, but the school ones that we used to have in my old school always did because they were just on constantly. So these ones we just really need to I guess grind out this day. So describe for 4 marks. We're looking for a little more than just stating things here. So some of them we can really just be obvious about it. This one different from the laser printers in that it uses cartridges of liquid ink. It could be, remember, we've got the piezo. Obviously, I'm not really typing or writing the full answer, so you can use piezoelectric or thermal bubble, where the nozzles heat up and spit out bubbles of ink onto the paper. It's got a moving print head, similar to the read-write things for writing memory. So it's got the moving print head, and I guess on that part there, I've covered that one, the whole spray of ink onto the paper. That's a really terrible writing of ink. Let me just put that in. Spray ink onto the paper, and we want low volume but high quality here. Yeah, so it uses liquid ink, and it could make use of piezoelectric technology or thermal bubble, where the ink from the cartridges is sprayed onto the paper using the print head that moves back and forward across the paper as the paper is moving through, and you get high quality printouts, and that's that spelling, oops, compared to laser. So here we go with the same question, obviously, about laser printers this time. So looking at exam technique, 4 marks, we're describing laser printers. So I guess we can just go with the same idea of what we said the last time. So it's powdered ink, i.e. toner. What else? It's got that charged printing drum. Charged drum. Obviously, that is uses charge. So we've got static electricity charges that it uses as well. I need to get this pen charged. Electricity. Oh my goodness. Electricity charges. You've got the discharge lamp that you could speak about. Again, this is just something that you really need to go away and learn. What we use this for, I would say high volume printouts. When you need to print a lot of something and the quality can be okay. It obviously fuses the toner onto the paper that's moving across this heated drum that is statically charged. We could talk about how the positive and the negative charges there, and we've obviously got the discharge lamp to remove that static charge from the drum as well. For 4 marks, there's quite a lot you could be saying there. Again, this is a big important unit of theory that you really need to read and try and put 5 or 6 points for this one. There's no need to stop at 4. If you know 6 things, put all 6, and then that way you're more likely to get 4. Type of printer is a 3D printer, so again we've got a lot for this unit of describe type questions. So what can we tell you about this? It produces 3D objects. Those could be prototypes that we can create quickly. We use CAD to design, and you could bring up CAM, which is manufacturer that controls the process. It uses layers of material to create its output, and those layers could be paper, it could be resin, it could also be metal. Yeah. So that one's like more about 3D printing, not about how it actually is like oops. Okay, so now we've got this one would be good for adding to your notes about the order that things happen. So we've got number 1, printer driver ensures that data is in a format that the laser printer can understand. So that's protocols in use there, making sure that data is in the correct order. Then we need to get the data into its buffer, which is this one. So the data is sent to the laser printer, stored temporarily in the printer buffer. And earlier we were looking at the charges. So the printing drum is given a positive charge. Happens next. As the drum rotates, the laser scans across it, removing that positive charge in certain areas, i.e. the areas that we need something to print on. Next, the negatively charged areas are produced in the printing drum. That's the same part, and these match exactly with the text to be printed. So that and that kind of follow on from one another. They're almost really describing the same part. So we've got 5 in there. The drum then gets the positively charged toner onto it, and it sticks to those negatively charged parts of the printing drum. We then roll the paper, which is negatively charged, over that printing drum. And what happens with that? The toner is stuck to the paper, I guess, to reproduce whatever you're putting on there, and then it goes through the fuser to put it on permanently, i.e. like heat it up. And then the part that's not mentioned here is the removing of that static charge as well from the drum using the diffuser lamp, which was mentioned earlier. So this is the perfect one for adding to your notes, and I would take some time now to do that if you don't already have it. Okay, so let's see, I think we kind of already covered these. Production of one-off photographs of very high quality. So that one, we want an inkjet printer. Make sure we give the full name. We already said about high colour printing of advertising. We want a laser printer. Production of an object built up layer by year using CAD applications. That's obviously a 3D printer. Converting electrical signals into sound. Some people might put digital to analog converter here, but those are part of actual devices once here. So I guess here you could have speakers would be an option. Also headphones. And then showing a large computer output on a large wall or screen, you could say a projector for that one. And there you go, 5 easy marks, hopefully we know that one. We already covered light sensors and so on in another video. This is in here because it's input devices, so it's covered in a previous one. Suitable applications for these below. So this could be inkjet. We want high quality. I'm just going to high quality photographs, photo prints. And for 3D printers, prototype models. and it could be for anything, any physical objects. You could 3D print prototype cases for your mobile phone, for example, to see the look and how they function before creating real ones. So we already covered this one, really, of like explaining how a 3D printer and an inkjet printer are different from this other one, which is obviously a laser. Describe how it works. So we're looking for 2 or 3 points for that one, plus the application. So that flyers are like high quality, not high quality, things that you're going to produce en masse, like printouts, leaflets, magazines, where the quality is not the most important. So we can go through the whole positive drum, negative charge part of the drum, the laser, static charges, the fact it doesn't have a print head that moves, faster at printing out compared to an inkjet, high volume output with lower quality, things like that. These again, the LCD and the clock face is backlit using LED. Describe how the sensor, microprocessor and LEDs are used to maintain the correct brightness of the clock face. Now this one again is in from the other video to do with sensors, so check that video out. It's the whole input that goes A to D, where you've got the microprocessor that's making decisions, doing comparisons and then sending messages to the output to increase or decrease the voltage supply, I guess, to the LED to turn it on or make it brighter and whatnot. So, 2 advantages of the older. We've already covered the same question again there. Okay, let's work our way through each of these. So let's look through them. Allows the user to write on a surface using a pen. Text and drawings are captured electronically and stored for later use. I think that's interactive whiteboard because there's no other written ones. So yeah, let's go with interactive whiteboard. Converts sound into an electrical signal voltage. Well, that's obviously something to do with analog to digital conversion in sound. The only one that's going to do that there is the microphone. Uses thermal bubble and piezoelectric technology to produce hard copies, which are inkjet printer technologies. Uses a bright light white source and micro mirrors on a chip to produce an image on a wall or screen. That's a digital light projector. Creates a hard copy document into an electronic form to be stored on a computer as a file. That's a scanner that creates that. And then negatively charged images on a rotating drum with positively charged toner to output a hard copy laser printer. These are the good ones. When those come up, we generally do well. It's when we need to describe these that the difficulty comes in. So LCD using LED backlit technology give 4 benefits of using that technology. It's got really vivid colours. I'm trying to get this pen working, let's see. There we go, really vivid colours. What else we got? Thinner and lighter screens. Obviously, basically think about your TVs compared to your grandparents' TVs. Because they are lighter, it uses less electricity, so it's cheaper to run. And what else? Longer lasting, the LEDs are. So it's, I guess, reliable lifespan it has there, and it's quick to get to its max brightness. If you check out videos, because they probably don't really exist anywhere, of cathode ray monitors loading, you hear them click on and power up and heat up and so on. So temporarily stored data being sent to a printer. Its technical term for it is a buffer, but you could also say that it's RAM because it is temporary storage. We just tend to call it a buffer when it's storing it temporarily. Let's see, supermarket output device in this system. You could have touchscreen, easy interaction and menu driven, or menu or icon driven. Less likely to make errors. So just think about, sorry, I misread that. It says output device touchscreen. I guess for that one, actually, printer then, to print out a receipt. To print out your receipts. I mean, a touchscreen's fine because it is, that's what I was thinking. That it just displays the price of what you have. 6 marks is interesting. I don't think that's actually correct for this example, but I'm not sure why it's there because there's obviously not enough space to answer with 6 marks on that one. These are nice for adding things to our notes, so let's go through what we've got. Flat panel display that uses light modulating properties of liquid crystals. Well, that's liquid crystal display, which you have there. We have flat panel display using an array of light emitting diodes as pixels. That's what LED stands for. We have droplets of ink being propelled onto a paper, which is inkjets. We have electrically charged powdered ink transferred onto paper as laser, and a high powered laser that uses XY plane as a 2D cutter. So again, these are really important to add to your notes. Looking at this one, 4 marks, but you've got to get 5 to do so. What we got here, washing machine to display error codes. This is probably going to link up well with hex, of having error codes and formats like this so that you can look them up and the information density is high, that you can have 4 characters that can represent about 65,000 different error messages. So display is the screen input, output or storage device. Straightforward. It's a screen telling us information. It's an output device. This one, people tend to do really terribly in the exam in this, weirdly, because they're so used to just ticking one column. But if you read this carefully, you'll see that it says some statements may apply to both output devices. So let's just go down each column and forget that we're doing 2 here. Let's just output physical 3D product, forget 3D cutter. Yeah, 3D printer outputs a physical 3D product. Yep. Uses a high powered laser to create the output. Well, no, because it's printing things out. Creates 3D prototypes. Yeah, or use it for prototyping. Uses layers of materials to create the output. Yeah, it does. Then going down 3D cutter, does it output a 3D product? Yeah, it does. Uses a high powered laser to create the output. Yeah, it cuts through the material to create the product. Creates 3D prototypes. Yeah, it does. Uses layers of material to create the output. No, it doesn't. So you can see there that you might fall into the trap that most people do, where they're scared to tick 2 columns. So either go down a column at a time and forget that it's not actually comparing them. You're just trying to identify the common things that they have between them. So this one, CAD, which is computer aided design, we'll get away with CAD. So that's to create the computerized designs. If you're controlling the actual process, that's CAM, computer aided manufacturing. Digital light display, it was given away slightly earlier. So large array of tiny mirrors laid out in a matrix. Probably get away, laid in a matrix, which is just like an array. That's how they're laid out. Each mirror is 1 pixel. And what they can do is tilt to and away from the light source, which is obviously do it, and the mirrors obviously then reflect light or don't, depending on how they are tilted, and that light passes through a colour wheel to give the different colours. To give you different colours, and then I guess you could say it displays on a big screen. So it's 3 marks, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things we could expand on here about how it works. Let's see, she's got 3 questions to answer about output devices. First question is right answer. A high-powered laser that cuts materials such as thin metals or wood. So that's obviously a 3D, or I guess you'd say a 2D cutter, rather than a 3D printer, because it's cutting out of a larger piece of material. Second one, screen is made up of RGB pixels. The screen uses layers of different types of liquid. So liquid crystal display is the only real answer for that one, rather than LED. You can give the acronyms or the full names. So let's see, another output. Responsible for powering moving motor and machinery such as a robot arm. These ones are actuators, which is a really good one to mention when you are talking about the controlling microprocessor type questions covered in the other video. These are great for adding to our notes. So looking down our list, have a quick read, see what words you've got. Never leave these blank, please. Let's see. So, and something allows a user to write on a surface using a pen. Well, that's what I'm pretty much doing right now. So let's see. 3D, nope. There we go. Interactive whiteboard's an option. Laser, nope. So the only one that works really there is interactive whiteboard. Allows a user to write on a surface using a pen, and we can capture them for later. And something printer produces a hard copy of a document using something and piezoelectric technology. Now, when we see piezoelectric, we know that is inkjet. So we can put an inkjet printer there. Maybe use a pencil to score out the ones you've used so that you can eliminate them from it. And then we know that other technology that it uses is thermal bubble, thermal bubble. Something printer uses a drum, so right away we know it's the other type of printer, and we have it right there, laser. So a laser printer uses a something drum and positive and negative charges. So a something drum, there we go, rotating drum, not a scanning one. So rotating drum. These are good if you can actually hide this first before you do it, for practice, obviously, not an exam, to show how really well you know it. So again, good ones to add to your notes and definitions for this topic. So I think that's a repeat. Let's just do it. Let's see. Uses a high intensity beam of light shone through 3 layers of changing pixels. So that's liquid crystal display. Uses millions of micro mirrors as a digital light projector. Uses plastic, resin or metal to generate an output, 3D printer. Uses static electric charge in a rotating drum, is obviously that let's see, as a laser printer, sorry, there we go. Inkjet printer uses liquid ink to create a physical output, and 2D cutter, a high powered laser. Nice and easy, add that one again to your notes. Output device, well, show data from a computer system. Now, I don't personally think that's great, e.g. hear sound from a speaker. Added that example in. Try and add examples when you can. I just wasn't very happy with what I've written. Show, view, hear, display information from a computer or data from a computer system. Examples, oh my goodness, there's about 1 million we've went through. I'm sure you can do this one on your own. Powdered toner rather than liquid ink. Which one is it? Well, it's a laser printer. Hopefully we've got that by now. 2 benefits of this type of printer. Cheaper, but that's not enough to say that. Similar to the memory, it's cheaper per page, and faster printing speed. Faster printing speed. Obviously we want it for high volume printouts. This is going to be drawbacks. They tend to be more expensive to buy. So inkjet's a bit cheaper. Lower quality prints. Let's just go lower quality print. Obviously, don't you write Q in the exam, I'm being lazy. They tend to be large size compared to an inkjet. They could fit on a desktop. Think about the printers in the library, which are laser and toner's expensive. So expensive to buy, and so is toner. I guess so is ink as well, but hey ho. Output device with small mirrors. We have got there a projector. Got that without even reading it, reflecting it, reflecting that light towards the lens. The lens obviously focuses it a bit like glasses do, well, almost. Output device creates an object by building layer upon layer of material. We want a 3D printer. 3 output devices connected to a personal computer. Here's a smiley face. Just please make sure they're output devices. We have talked about a lot already. How an inkjet printer prints the images. So things like roll paper with a roller. We have nozzles, should mention name, to spray ink. These nozzles move across paper as the paper also moves. You could say that the ink is heated. You can mention that it's piezoelectric or thermal bubble, depending on which one you choose. Obviously, the ink being heated is thermal bubble. Piezoelectric, we apply current to vibrate the crystals, which forces a droplet through. So there's quite a lot that you could say there, whereas the other one, the heat makes the little nozzle expands out of the bubble, which eventually bursts onto the paper. I was going to say, oh yeah, and we get obviously different coloured inks that you could say are mixed to create the different colours. Cyan, magenta, yellow, I can't remember the colours, have a look them up for me. 2 output devices that are present in the information point: speaker, headphones, printer, whatever you want. There you go. Okay, here's another one of drawing multiple lines. So let's see. Inkjet printer can print in colour. Inkjet printer uses a charge drum to create the printed item. No, it doesn't. Uses powdered toner. No, it doesn't. Creates output line by line using a print head. True for this one. Laser printer, yes, it can print in colour. Uses a charge drum to create the printed item. Yes. Uses powdered toner. Yes. Creates output line by line using a print head. No. And we also needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines there, and only for 2 marks. 2, tricky one. 10,000 copies printed. A4 inkjet or laser printer. State why. Laser is printing a high volume of documents. It doesn't really talk about the quality. 3D cutter. How do we use this to produce the models? Well, hopefully if you've done it before, you use CAD to design it. What else do we want to do? Load our material onto the cutter. Lasers cut our design in the X, Y and Z axis because it's 3D rather than just X and Y. Uses like a special lens to focus that laser, and then this material could be wood, could be metal, could be any different type of material that we would. Other output devices, skip it. 2 output devices in the library system, skip it, very straightforward. How do LCD screens operate? Well, we've got display of pixels, and those are again arranged in a matrix, it's called. Matrix or an array. It's got 3 filters, which are RGB filters, and we create any colour with a mix of those. Again, I'm summarising here, so explain it. We backlight the screen, and we shine the light through the crystals. And the electricity changes the shape of the crystals, which is why they call it liquid crystal, because it can go solid or transparent based on electricity. Which causes it to either be transparent to the light to transfer through it or not, and then obviously whether the light passes through the crystal and then hits that filter in front of it, and depending on what colour we want to achieve, that filter then mixes the RGB again. We're using the hex colour codes here. And then final one, what output devices would you use for these tasks? Take your pick. There's many that you can choose.